Alright, back with round 3 of the Clash of Champions. And I'm playing versus FDS. Everybody knows he plays Chaos Control. I've seen him play Chaos Control during this tournament. Yeah, there's not much to say about the list. It's just like, he plays Dekoichi's Fates, Skill Dark Magician, and then a bunch of standard stuff. No decrees. So I lose the die roll. He goes first and just passes, which is not something you see very often in Go format. And I have an excellent hand. I just go Thunder Dragon. And then activate Charity. I think I might have thought for a second about just going Dekoichi plus Raigeki Break, just so I can have this in my hand, but when my deck plays 3 Death Shoot like it does, you just want to slam the Graceful like now. I draw into Knight Assailant, so I have the option to go Dekoichi plus Knight. But when you have Serpent in addition to all this, you just want to pitch the Serpent and Thunder Dragon. Play Upstart, which gives me BLS. And set Dekoichi with Raigeki Break. No real reason to go aggressive. I have multiple flips, so yeah. So he goes and draws pot. Plays Thunder Dragon. Summon Sangan. And sets a back row. Attacks into my Dekoichi. I draw a card. He ends and discards Serpent. I draw Sangan. Take back Sinister. In phase 1. I was looking for a game shot here, but I just don't have it. Actually, I was looking in the end phase last turn. I had 5,000 with BLS and then 3,000 more with Dekoichi plus Tribe, which is only 8,000, so could not win. So just start here with Upstart, which gives me Spy. So this game is already becoming really complicated, and it's only like turn 2. I could go for another Dekoichi. I do just go for Serpent though, just because if he does decide to make like 1,000 Eyes or make some kind of play like Raigeki Break my set monster, I'll just get to search with Sangan. Plus, if he attacks my Sangan with his Sangan, I get to go for Tsukiyomi, which is a very important card in this matchup. So yeah, discard Serpent, set Sangan. He takes back his Serpent and now has Charity. So remember how broken my hand was turn 1? He's outdone me even more than that because he has Pot, Thunder Dragon with the Serpent. See what he does. He just attacks. So it's still fair to think that he probably still doesn't have knock, but it's not guaranteed. He definitely possibly could hold knock in this spot. So I allow this and grab the Tsukiyomi. He thinks for a long time and may phase 2, and tribute sets for Thunder Dragon, which gives a Magician of Faith, and then drops Chaos Sorcerer to banish my Dekoichi. So just the Search of Tsukiyomi kind of forced him, not forced, but he looks like he had a hand size issue in addition to me grabbing Tsukiyomi, so he was like, let me just get rid of the Sangan, and now his board is a lot safer. I won't be able to create some OTK with my BLS over attack mode Sangan. And he gets rid of my Dekoichi, so I can't Tsukiyomi it. Even though I probably wasn't trying to Tsukiyomi it, considering I also have hand size issues. He sets a back row. Serpent was already in grave, so new back row. It doesn't necessarily have to be something good, it could just be something being set for hand size. So I draw another Spy, which is probably the worst card in the deck to have drawn in this spot. So I take back Serpent. I do not use Regeki Break, because this Regeki Break is very powerful. So I have, what, 9 in hand? So, due to having 9 in hand, I can't just go like set Dekoichi pass, right? Because then I have to discard 2 cards. So, just due to the hand size, it kind of makes my play for me. And Tribe is the card that drops my hand count down. So that's what I do. Is this a spot where I discard Spy? No, not Spy, of course, Sinister. He thinks, still thinks. He decides to book his Sorcerer. I'm obviously still not dropping BLS, so I'm just gonna attack Sorcerer, which he allows. I go to main phase 2, and here I discard the Spy. I choose Spy over Thunder Dragon. So first off, when I discard Spy here, it's a little bit of a tell that I probably have another Spy, but I could see some situations much later in the game where I might want to tribute for Thunder Dragon, where I can't really see any situations where I would want the second Spy. And it does give me like something for Night Assailant in case he has like duo, but that doesn't really matter. So he takes back Serpent. He flips Thunder Dragon and just attacks. So that's completely fine with me. That's like one of the best outcomes I could imagine, considering I could have just gotten OTK'd. So then sets a monster and a back row. Remember that he searched Faith last turn, so you have to consider here. So if you look at my graveyard, I don't have any Nox yet. He doesn't know if I main Mind Control, so I kind of just decide that it's very likely that he's gonna bait one first before playing the Faith. Unless he had multiple faith, in which case I'm kind of screwed. Not really screwed, but yeah. So he flips up to Koichi. And also remember how important this Raigeki Break is the only card protecting me from possible BLS plays right now. So he attacks into Spy. Still doesn't have knock, and neither do I. And this is huge right here, because now he's going to have to find a way around this, committing more cards. This is really going to slow the game down now. Like, it was already kind of crazy, but this is going to put it on another level when we both have this many cards in our hands. He sets a monster and another back row. I draw MST, take back Sinister, and I think at this point is where I decide, alright, he's probably thinking he's safe, he's good. He's like, alright, I'm going to set Faith now, but I planned for this, and I'm just going to Raigeki Break. It looks like I don't do it. Oh, I remember what I'm thinking here. If I Raigeki Break on my turn, he's free to just go end phase Scapegoat and start doing the goat plays on my... I can't remember if I set Faith or Koichi here, but regardless, he would be free to start doing goat meta plays, whereas if I wait until his turn to destroy his set Faith with Raigeki Break, he won't be able to use goat. Okay, I do set Faith. Right, I set Faith because... Why do I set Faith? Yeah, I set Faith obviously because he allowed my spies to resolve last turn. So, good chance he can't out it. Well, that's hard to say, because he almost definitely has at least one Metamorphosis by now, and he could have Serp plus Meta that he didn't feel like using last turn, but now, when it looks like it could be getting away from him, he'll want to be using it now. So yeah, I Raigeki Break now, and I was right. And he does go for the meta here. I draw Chaos Sorcerer, take Serpent. And this is where things get really complicated now. Did I see Tsukiyomi from him yet? I can't remember. I don't believe I did, but I'm definitely thinking that there's a good shot he has Tsukiyomi. I just decide, because if I set Koichi and he has Tsukiyomi, he just steals my Koichi for free. If I set Serpent, I'm basically banking on him having Tsukiyomi. And if he doesn't, I kind of wasted a turn. What I end up doing is just going for Suk on Thousand Eyes to try and just get rid of it now. And he goes for Ring. And now it's really difficult. I can't just summon Chaos Sorcerer and banish because he flips Thousand Eyes to take. If I summon BLS to banish Thousand Eyes, then I just lose the Snatch. I lose to a bunch of stuff. So I feel like I can't use either Chaos, which leaves me with no play. I just have to pass. He does have Tsukiyomi, which gives him a +1 off his Dekoichi, gets another +1 off his Thousand Eyes. Takes the Suk to hand and discards Serpent. So this is where he starts to really gain the upper hand. I still have strong cards in my hand though. I still have BLS, I still have Chaos Sorcerer. But how do I play this now? If I summon Chaos Sorcerer and banish Thousand Eyes, I would then set Dekoichi next to that, probably, and use Dust Shoot. If I Dust Shoot Tsukiyomi, though, like, he probably has another Chaos. Good chance he has another Chaos. That I'm just going to want to... I'm probably going to want to get rid of Chaos, and it just gets really awkward. So I decide still that it's not time to drop either of my two Chaos. What do I do, though? Do I set Serpent, or do I set Dekoichi? I believe my plan is still going to be to Dust Shoot away the Tsukiyomi. And setting Dekoichi. Maybe I should set Serpent, but it's like, what if he doesn't have anything better than the Tsukiyomi, and I just put back Tsukiyomi and I have just Serpent set for no reason? But yeah, I Dust Shoot here. Let's see the hand. He has a lot of threats. As you can see, if I were to have just gone summoning my Chaos, I would have just been crushed by BLS, Snatch. Only one choice here. I have to send back BLS and just allow him to keep going for Suk, because this BLS will kill me. Okay. He goes for Suk, which takes my Dekoichi. And sets another card, which is the Raigeki Break. I draw into Faith. So now what do I do? If I drop Chaos Sorcerer and banish, he's free to just go crazy on me with, again, Tsukiyomi on Dekoichi and Snatch. So again, I still don't think I can play either Chaos, so I need to look for a different play. So the obvious one is just Serpent, allow him to go TER, take the Serp, which wastes a turn for him. And that's exactly what happens. He ends, discards Serpent. I draw into Jar of Greed. So again, nothing's changed here. Same reasons as last turn. I'm still not dropping Chaos. I can't set Faith because, again, he has this Suk loop going. It's possible that I could go something like Sorcerer, set Faith. I still just think I get destroyed, though. Because he still has Raigeki Break as well. Yeah, I don't want to just allow him to Suk loop his Dekoichi instead of Thousand Eyes. So I just decide to set Jar of Greed here and end my turn. He goes, takes back Sinister. And summon Tsukiyomi, targeting the Thousand Eyes. Takes the Spy. I thought for a second he might not attack here, just because if I did have Mirror Force, he loses this pretty much unstoppable thing he's got going on here. But he just goes for the 1200 and it works. So he ends up discarding a real card here, Koichi. I draw Night Assailant, take Serpent. I gotta use Jar here. And now I draw Book of Moon. So I think this is actually the point where I decide it's time to drop Chaos Sorcerer, because I now have Book of Moon behind it. It's tough though. It's really tough. Do I end up banishing Koichi instead of Thousand Eyes? I don't believe so. I think I just am cool with him soup looping his Koichi at this point, if he ends up discarding real cards. And I go for the set Magician of Faith. I do this because I feel like I need to try to sneak it in. I feel like it's unlikely that he will Regeki break this, just because I've been setting Serpent and stuff this whole time. So yeah, I feel like in order to win this game, I need to resolve this Faith. And I can't let the opportunity slip by, basically. So he thinks he Regeki breaks my set book, and I book Chaos Sorcerer. Thinks very hard. He decides to use that DD Warrior Lady to banish the Sorcerer. And then just goes for the attack on Faith. So my plan worked. I was able to somehow get the Faith resolved and take back Charity, and now I can try to fight back in this game. Remember, I still have Heavy Storm in my deck, so this game's nowhere near over. He passes. When he does this, I'm like very confident that, well, he did summon DD Warrior Lady, so it's not like he could set another monster anyway. Regardless, I do believe he still has Scapegoat face down, very likely. So I draw Duo, and he just pitched Serpent, so seems like a good time to just use that. But yeah, there's no reason to, because I can just Charity first. And he already knows what I'm going to discard anyway, so yeah. Those are the obvious discards. And I'm just going to take back Faith. I considered maybe taking back Spy or Koichi just for their attack points, but I felt I still will need a few more Faith resolves. I go for Pot. So now I've drawn a bunch of traps. I'm going to play Duo. So this is like, what? Let's see. 21st turn Trinity. Duo hits Tsukiyomi and Skill Dark. So I'm happy to hit Tsukiyomi, so he can't keep doing that Tsukiyomi Koichi stuff on me anymore. Even though I did have answers for it now. How to play this now? It's pretty obvious to me, actually. It's going to be Faith, Jar of Greed, Trap Does Shoot. Obviously not playing BLS right now. This is part of my win condition. And then it's between Ring and Regeki Break, or the option to set both. He still has Heavy Storm available. And I don't really care about ringing Dekoichi right now. Tsukiyomi is gone. And it's not like Ring saves me from some kind of random OTK. I'm not really worried about being OTK'd anyway with Dash Shoot plus Regeki Break. And also Ring is also part of my win condition in this game. Ring and BLS. These are part of the win condition. I'm planning at some point to go Heavy Storm with some crazy BLS play and then Ring. So yeah. And I'm just going to flip Dash Shoot after he adds Serpent. Let's see the hand again. He has Storm, BLS, all this good stuff now. And I'm just going to put back BLS one more time. Very obvious. Okay. He still can't do anything to Magician of Faith, so what's he going to do? Just attack. I think for a second on this one about maybe getting Duo, but he's just going to keep a Serpent in his hand forever, so I would just be taking Duo to discard one card. So obviously I'm just going to take Charity and try and get closer to the win condition. The one downside with Charity is that it forces me to have to win faster. Like, I'll only have a couple turns to actually deal 7,800 life points after this Charity. And I also have Jar of Greed set. Okay, so I find Breaker, I find Heavy Storm, I have Snatch, I have BLS. So do I have game? Well, let's see. Start by discarding Serpent and Night Assailant. Am I taking Faith again? I am taking Faith. The reason I take Faith is to get MST or Book of Moon to protect versus his Snatch. But maybe this isn't necessary. Let me just see something here. If I were to go heavy, he chains Scapegoat. I use Snatch, put the token to attack mode. Now that Breaker to break the Snatch. Attack for what? I definitely considered this in the moment, but it wasn't enough. It was what? 16 plus 3,000, which is 46, and he's at 78. So yeah, that wouldn't have been enough. So I needed to deal some chip damage. Is this when I decide to summon Breaker? No. I decide to set Faith. Set Faith, discard Thunder Dragon. These final 4 turns are like really crazy. And like so many things could be done. I'm gonna try not to spend too much time though. So I do the thing where I take Book of Moon. It's weird though, because I mean, it does allow me to drop BLS, and he'll have heavy, and I'll book, so then he'll have to like main phase 2 Snatch. I draw Nobleman, and take Serpent. I think at this point I decide to Jar of Greed. Yeah. I actually really wanted to Jar of Greed into Trap Dice Shoot. Like, that's exactly what I wanted. I knew it was 1 and 3 to draw. And did I actually also win if I drew Chaos Sorcerer at this point? I don't know, but... Okay, I Raigeki Break one of the back rows, which is Mirror Force. So I'm 1,000,000% confident this final one is Scapegoat. So I know I'm not going to be able to win right now. I take Serpent, I summon the Breaker, and just attack for 500. And then use Breaker's effect to force Scapegoat. And now what do I set? Remember, I know he still has Heavy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so I have to set 2. Mirror Force Dust Shoot looks fine, just because they aren't vital to my win condition. And they do protect me. Well, Dust Shoot already protects me on its own. This is where I actually mess up. Alright, I know he has Heavy Storm, but for some reason I got scared that he might just cast Sorcerer first, but that's really stupid of me. I think I should have waited for him to activate Heavy so that I chain Dust Shoot. Because doing it this way, he doesn't even have to use Heavy Storm anymore. Which means I still have to find another way around it later, and I only have 2 cards in the deck, so I don't have time. As we see the hand, we can see he drew BLS again, so he was definitely gonna Heavy Storm me. So yeah, I put back BLS for the 3rd time in this game, which is kind of crazy. And he sets a monster with a back row. So it's very likely to be Torrential that he decided to set, because he might be fearing that I'm gonna maybe try some OTK out of nowhere. Okay, so I take back Serpent here. And now I really have to think. I have 1 card in my deck, so I have to win either this turn or next turn, or set up some kind of push this turn that OTKs next turn. Okay. Yeah, this is just going to be crazy. So basically I have to figure out a way to deal 7,300 damage. If you look at my graveyard, I have 1 Chaos Sorcerer banished, and I don't have any other Chaos Sorcerers anywhere, so I know the final card in my deck is Chaos Sorcerer. So you have to keep that in mind when making the decision for this turn. So what's the most I can do right now? I can do like snatch a token, put it to attack mode, activate Heavy Storm, activate Nobleman, summon BLS, summon Serpent. Serpent, BLS, attack 2 tokens, BLS. BLS does what? 2 tokens, yeah, BLS, then only attacks for 3,000. So that's the most damage I can do on this turn, 3,000 damage. He'll be at 43. Now look at his hand. He has Heavy Storm, Snatch Seal, Chaos Sorcerer, and Nobleman. So I would be able to set book, ring. He just has everything in his hand, right? He would be able to beat that field easy. If I book my guy, he has knock. If I don't book, he has snatch. So I would just get beaten there. So doing something on this turn is not an option. So I have to figure out a way to win on the next turn with Chaos Sorcerer. And this is what I come up with. On the next turn, what I'm going to do is Heavy Storm, Nobleman, his Serpent. Nobleman is Serpent. 7 BLS. Chaos Sorcerer. Serpent. Breaker. Serpent. And I'll also snatch a token. Breaker. Serpent. Attack 2 tokens. He would have 1 remaining. BLS goes over the token and then attacks for 3,000, and then Chaos Sorcerer attacks for 23. That would put him at 2,000, and then I set ring and I win the game. He has a Book of Moon in his graveyard. If he plays two books, he's gonna have to draw 1 in the next 2 turns. So I see the win condition now. So how do I play this turn to make that happen? Well, it's simple. I'm not going to set Serpent because it's part of my win condition, and he has knock in his hand. So what I decide to do is put Breaker to defense mode, and set Nobleman to cross out, and discard Serpent. If he goes flip plus Torrential, plus Heavy, plus Chaos Sorcerer, and sets like another monster, I've calculated all that. I still have game through all that with what I got. There is a way for him to win. He could draw BLS again. He can draw his remaining Scapegoat. He can draw Duo. A Duo that hits a vital card to my win condition. So yeah, I put Breaker to defense just because I didn't want him to be able to crash and maybe do something like that. I want him to just be locked on 5 monsters. So that's the play, and let's see it play out. Let's just look at the log to see how long it actually took to make this decision. I drew a card at 57:13, and I ended turn at 60:31, which is over 3 minutes. And I did receive a slow play warning by TK Griffiths for this. He said my next one could be upgraded to a game loss. So yeah, thinking of this crazy play forced me to get a slow play warning, basically. It was very worth it though. Plays Upstart. Decides to set another back row, and I draw Chaos Sorcerer. So here goes nothing. I activate Nobleman. I activate Heavy Storm. And I summon everything. Play Snatch Steal. And there it is. That's just the game. And that was the craziest game I played the whole day. I couldn't even believe I won. I played the whole game not even knowing how I'm going to win until I took like that 3-minute think at the last turn to try and figure it out. Alright, so we're in game 2. He starts with Dust Shoot, taking away my Chaos Sorcerer. And I have a pretty good hand. Now I have Dust Shoot, I have Charity. No reason to use Charity right now. Let's just see what's going on with Dust Shoot. He decides to go for End Phase Regeki Break. Was there I definitely could have set another card, but I don't think it's necessary. I would rather probably like discard Regeki Break for Charity or something. He takes Serpent and decides to attack me for 16. He saw my hand. He doesn't want me to be able to wait forever until I draw Thunder Dragon, so he decides to put pressure right now. I draw MST. So I have to think now. Is it time to play the Charity? Well, let's think. His summon of choice was Tribe. If he has any other good summon, he would have summoned that over a Tribe with a Serpent in hand. So, like, even if he had, like, Dekoichi, he would have summoned Dekoichi to attack instead of Tribe. So I'm thinking he doesn't have another good summon to pressure me with. So I think I could still wait one more turn on Charity, and I just go for MST set and end turn. Just taking another 1600. He sets a monster. Now note that he knows I have Mind Control. I draw into Trap Dust Shoot, and I think it's way too risky to just use Mind Control. Like, we can see here that he does have Dekoichi, but he's doing like the reverse mind game, where he knows that I know he has Serpent, so it's just a really difficult to Mind Control here. If you Mind Control here, you're just getting owned so many times. This is just one of those times where he happened to have something real. But yeah, let's just use Charity, which gives me Pot of Greed, Faith, and Regeki Break. So I just decide to get rid of the Mind Control altogether. Because I'm like, I don't want to deal with these mind games. He's gonna play around it very well the whole game. And my other cards are really good as well. I have Heavy Storm, Dust Shoot, Pot, Faith, Regeki Break. Obviously I'm discarding one of the Regeki Breaks as well, because it's not doing anything right now. Maybe I should discard Heavy Storm instead of Mind Control, though. But my logic for discarding Mind Control was that it's just never going to be good. But at the same time, when I discard it, he is able to just set stuff that would be good. Whereas if I have it in my hand, he might do stuff like summon Dekoichi. Even his Chaos will be awkward if he can't OTK. So I would say I should discard Heavy Storm and Regeki Break here. But I discarded Mind Control Regeki Break. And I pot into not very strong cards. Pretty weak. So the question is, how do I approach this spot? Obviously I could just set Faith right away, and the only thing is he's holding 3 cards in his hand. He hasn't played Knock, he hasn't played Mind Control, he hasn't even had an opportunity to yet. And those are a lot of the cards that would remain in the hand in the situation. He wouldn't set those. So I definitely do want to throw the Dekoichi out first. And I do have Dust Shoot, so I could see what's going on in the hand, and basically I could play perfectly after that. And also my plan is to Regeki Break his Well, no, that was not my plan. Of course, that was not my plan. I'm just setting it because I need protection. So I Dust Shoot now. Let's see the hand. He has Thunder Dragon, Sinister, Chaos Sorcerer, and Magician of Faith. So when I see this hand, I obviously can see that his set was not Sinister. It could be Sangan, but I believe he would summon Sangan in attack mode and just press for 2600. So I also don't think it's Sangan. So this decision has to do with my next decision. When I see this hand, I decide I'm going to Raigeki Break his set monster, which could easily be a dark monster. So that's why I choose Chaos Sorcerer here. I could have chosen Thunder Dragon instead, but then he still has Faith as his light monster. So yeah, I just get rid of Chaos Sorcerer so that he can't add that pressure. And then Raigeki Break, discard my completely dead Heavy Storm. He goes for Thunder Dragon. Let's hide the hand again. And he attacks. I draw a duo. And he just passes. So I know his hand is Serpent, 2 Thunder Dragons, and Faith. So obviously I'm not activating duo. So what am I doing? Clearly my only play is Magician of Faith, which when he attacks it also gives me a light for Chaos Sorcerer. So he needs to draw Nobleman or Mind Control right now, or he's pretty much going to lose. I guess maybe Metamorphosis would have worked too, but I do have Chaos Sorcerer for that, so it's not the greatest. He attacks, and I take Charity. Obviously I take Charity over Pot because I want to be able to... I already have a duo that I want to discard, and a Night Assailant to get back Faith, so that's why you go Charity over Pot. I draw into Tribe and play Charity. And the discards here look pretty obvious to me. It's just duo, Night Assailant. He's just never going to give me a good duo. He would have to commit his Serpent and start getting rid of his Thunder Dragons. And I take back Faith, and he Dust Shoots me here. Now, I actually forgot. Normally I'm on top of this. Like, normally I'll think, oh, they might have Dust Shoot. Let me priority my Thunder Dragon. I just didn't think about it here. And a lot of times it's hard to think about this. So, like, basically if I wanted to use priority Thunder Dragon, I would have to state that I'm holding priority while resolving the Night Assailant. Otherwise, you just make them either ask about Dust Shoot, which kind of makes it obvious. So basically, to protect the Dust Shoot player, you just always... they can just flip it, and it's on the turn player to say that they're making a weird play like priority Thunder Dragon after resolving Night Assailant. So he does get rid of the Thunder Dragon. Remember, we still know his whole hand. So clearly his plan is very obvious. His plan is going to be to just draw a Faith out. He has no choice but to draw a Faith out. I could have snatched also, but I would rather him just attack into Faith so that I get the light. And he does draw knock, so this game's not over yet. It was looking over, but that card saved him. And he now sets a monster. Remember, he has Faith in hand, and he now has a spell card in his grave. So, and he knows my hand, so he knows that's 100% Faith. So how do I play? I can't just set Spy, because then he wins by going Faith, Nobleman, Thunder Dragon. So that means I have to make a play. I could go Tribe, attack Faith, he takes Nobleman, and then I discard Spy to kill the tribes. But I decide to make a play that forces him to out my field, which is Snatch, Summon Spy. Remember, we know his hand is just Serpent, 2 Thunder Dragons, Nobleman. So he can't answer the current field. All he can do is just set Serpent. So I'm forcing him to draw something. And he does draw something. He draws Tribe and discards the Thunder Dragon instead of Serpent, because he wants to set Serpent, which I'm not sure about. I'm not sure if that's how he should do it. No, it makes sense because he has Crossout in his hand and Thunder Dragon. If I set a monster, I lose. If I summon a monster and attack Serpent, he has Tribe to kill anyway. So I have to do something more than just the standard. So I only have one play here that makes me not lose, which is Tribe, attack the Serpent. In main phase 2, I have an option. I could discard to destroy tribes, or just pass. Passing is an option, because on his turn, he's either going to have to pass back, which lets me continue to gain him 1,000, or he's just going to have to attack himself. Now, me passing here does give him a few extra outs to win. Breaker lets him straight up win. MST lets him straight up win. Metamorphosis is probably a really good card as well. Meta's okay. It's not great. It's pretty good. But meta would also be good if I discard it anyway. So the big reason I don't discard is because I feel like I need all of these cards if I'm going to make a comeback at this game. So I just take a chance here. Hope he doesn't draw the stuff that punishes this. And he doesn't. He just attacks. And he doesn't set Serpent, which is kind of crazy. Maybe that means he drew Meta and doesn't want to risk Nobleman. No, I feel like you would still set Serpent with Meta, because it lets you pressure with Thunder Dragon. So I don't know, but he doesn't set Serpent. I use Upstart. So what do I know right now? I know Serp, Thunder Dragon, and Nobleman. So I'm obviously not setting a monster. I am summoning. And the summon of choice is definitely Sangan. Attacks for 1000, and I have to set Raigeki Break because I just die. He has live chaos. I have to set this to protect myself. He just passes. Still does not set Serpent. So what is going on here? Maybe he does have meta and just doesn't want to risk his Serpent getting knocked. So he wants to maybe wait until I have another monster. Right? So I know he has Nobleman. So all I can really do is just summon and continue putting pressure. And I end my turn. Now after the game I actually rewatched this and saw that he has Heavy Storm. So I really don't understand why he doesn't Heavy. Let's see my grave. I have Raigeki Break, Raigeki Break. I still have Book. I still have Ring. Yeah, he takes a really long time to think about this. I feel like he should have used Storm. Like, if I'm putting myself in those shoes, I'm definitely using Storm because I want to make sure that Thousand Eyes goes through. Because if it doesn't go through, you take another 2200 and you don't have a follow-up play. You don't have a follow-up play on the following turn if you lose meta Serp. You're hoping you draw Chaos. He goes for set Serp Sangan. So he's committing to taking another 2200 in the case that I have Nobleman. I think that's fine. And I do Nobleman. And I really, really want to set Ring here, but I think there's just too good a chance that he has Storm. And he would have to Storm Raigeki Break. And my Ring can still answer stuff after that. Okay, he goes now. Okay, this is actually where he makes the play of not storming, which is just crazy to me. Let me see what he drew. Yeah, I don't understand how he doesn't storm here, because if I have any answer, he just loses. I'm doing way too much damage. So I think long and hard about this decision now. If I allow him to take Spy, I remember I still know about Nobleman. And is my Tsukiyomi still alive? Tsukiyomi is still alive. So because Tsukiyomi is still alive, he probably won't attack. Yeah, he definitely won't attack. Which I definitely considered. Which I definitely thought he wouldn't attack. So this basically gives me it basically stalls out the game and takes damage off my board. If I go Raigeki Break and he has BLS, I lose. If I go Raigeki Break and he has Chaos Sorcerer, he would probably banish Sangan, often, and then I would be able to ring, but there's also a chance he just attacks Spy, and then I won't be able to ring. Yeah, this is a tough one, and I do eventually decide to just Raigeki Break. And he sets 1, and I draw Spy. And there are a lot of cards that he can have that stop my aggressive push here. If I summon, attack with all, I have game with ring. Now, remember that he's just been passing this whole time without any back row, while I've been aggressive with my guys. And from my point of view, I feel like he just drew meta last turn, or otherwise, at least from my point of view, I would think that he would have been gone Serp meta before that. So in my mind, I feel like he drew meta last turn and hasn't been setting anything to my aggression. So I feel like this back row is just a bluff. He's setting something, a spell card, that he doesn't want me to put that extra bit of pressure here that'll kill him. But obviously that's not going to work, and I'm just going to summon an attack and set ring. He's going to storm, and I ring for game. Now, a few days later, he said that he misplayed a bunch during this tournament, so he said he had game in game 1. Clearly, he had other plays in game 2 here. He could have stormed my Raigeki Break. There was a lot of things, so obviously you need to get a lot of luck in tournaments, whether it just be luck with draws, luck with just playing well, hoping your whatever plays you make do work. Maybe your opponent. Sometimes you just have to get lucky and your opponents are the ones misplaying, causing you to win. Like, it's a whole combination of a bunch of things. And yeah, good thing I was able to win this one. It was a super tough match. Let's actually just look at the log for how long this took. That was an 87-minute match. Yeah, that's big. Because that game 1 took, I believe, an hour by itself. Alright. That's it. So now at this point I am 2-1. And I'll be headed to round 4 in the next video. See you.